Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 213th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Andrew Normand and Brandi S. Today's topic is character defects. Would you like to share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you're happy to discuss this here today? And even if you're not, pretend you are.
No, so you didn't let me answer. My answer is no. No, I don't want to
Now
talk
be a
about
good
them.
boy, Andrew. Or you're not like I'm telling Santa.
Yeah, naughty
Oh man, so I wish we would have done this one last week, but we couldn't do it. So I'm glad we're doing it today. Character defects, bro. This is a big one. Good to see both of you. It sucks JJ couldn't be here with us today, but
love you, JJ.
I love you, JJ.
Love you, JJ. Ooh.
So character defects, aka the doorway to freedom, right? For me, right? Like these character defects, bro. We're gonna deal with these for the rest of our lives. This is an ongoing process that I think, and I have this written down. I was a walking, talking, breathing defect in desperate need of character.
I like that.
Whoa. My heart's beating faster. I'm swooning.
God. Can we stop the program now? Can we stop now? I mean, because that's
gonna be a quick one. Bye, everybody. Tune in next episode.
Right. Say it again. I want to write that down.
So I was a walking, talking, breathing defect in desperate need of character. Right. And bro, I was in so much denial because I didn't even know I needed. I didn't know that's what I was. Right. I was in such denial. Didn't even know I was lying. Right. I was in such denial. Right. And today, here's the caveat. Right. Today, I am so here's what I'm doing. I have a program where I'm turning my defects into character, into defects with character. Right. So that's what we're doing here. Right. Character defects to me before meant that something was like wrong with me, seriously wrong with me. But bro, everybody has character defects. Everybody, whether you got a 12-step program or not. Today I can use these character defects as indicators, right? Not like an indictment on myself, right? I can use it as an indicator to grow and get better. Because I feel like there's two kind of people in this world. There's people that work on themselves and people that don't give a shit, right? And or they're just blind to it, right? It's just they're ignorant, right? And so we are actively working on these things, right? There's like a layered program here that we're working on these things, right? And this talk here is not we're working on progress here. We're working on awareness. We're working on a willingness, right, to work on these things. And I didn't call them character defects before I got here. Bro, again, we hit that survival mode, bro. It was just my protection. Like, this was my protection. It was my it was my personality. It was who I was. It was just what I was. And I used to blame other people for my actions and for those defects that I had that I would outwardly portray on other people. And I was just a sick individual, right? We were wrapped up in our disease. But I come in here, and one other layer to that is that pride and ego. I feel like that pride and ego has a way of just activating all these character defects, right? They're character defects in themselves, but I feel like they're all the other character defects best buddies, right? Like our pride and ego are just like, come on, procrastination, let's go in here and get busy, right? Like they bring all these other character defects in, and it's like it just makes it really hard for us to recognize, even in active recovery, right? Now that we're not using, I feel like it still is hard for us because we're not using, right? We don't have that fog that we're living in of the drugs, and so we're actually aware that things are happening, and when things happen, they affect us, right? So we're going to continue to act like that, or we're going to work on them. And a big part of this program is making a list of those character defects and actively working on the opposite of those things, right?
Yep.
And that's a big part of this program, bro. It's a huge, massive part of this program. And so if you can't wrap your head around working on those things that you got wrong with you and the things that are that bother everybody else around you every time you walk into the room, then like this might not be the program for you, right? And so in terms of like, you want to get off drugs, come here. But if you really want to get everything that this program has to offer, that's a big part of it. So I'm going to pass that to you, Brandon, because I don't want to talk about them anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a great subject. And it
Love
also
you.
is like, what do this is when I gotta like look at myself a little bit more and see that I'm definitely not a perfect person. I mean, perfect sounds boring. But character defects, like one, I didn't even acknowledge they were a defect before I got in recovery, should I say. Even, I didn't look at it as these things as defects. And but then when I saw the defects, and I got into recovery, I thought that when I got clean that I wouldn't have any more character defects. I really thought that Brandy wouldn't lie anymore. She wouldn't manipulate or people please, and all these things that procrastination, all these things that are character defects. I thought they would just go away once the drugs went away, but really they were almost highlighted. And that may sound like, well, Brandon, that doesn't seem great. Well, it is not always, but I get to work on it today. We get to work on these character defects because, like you said, I wrote it down so I'll forget. I was a walking, talking, breathing defect, looking for character. Like who knew that's really what I was doing? Because I thought people pleasing was a personality, and I was a nice person. I didn't understand how much people pleasing internally affected me. And man, did it. Today I can be a nice person. I can maybe do things I don't want to always do, but I do it to be nice, not because I'm afraid to say no or I'm afraid that person's going to get mad at me. It's so stuff like that, like it's just were just eye-opening to me that these are defects that I can work on, and I don't have to protect myself with them anymore. And they don't serve me any purpose like they did before. But we can all still fall into them. I say we, but I mean me, really. And I just hope to be able to catch them. I heard something, and it was like the danger of, what is it? Misidentifying or misnaming character defects. Like it may seem like one, like it's not bad, but really this is what it is. And I don't have a good example right now. Hopefully throughout the podcast, I'll think of it because I didn't think about saying that. But it's like, it's not just being nice. Maybe it is. Maybe my people pleasing is coming back, and I'm not just being nice because I had already feel like I conquered that before. I got to watch it. It really can manifest back into a character defect. And that's why I love digging into this kind of stuff. And thank you. And I love being able
You're
to
welcome.
Oh, my daughter brought me coffee.
I love you. I was just answering you. It's beautiful.
I paid for your donut, but I didn't get it. Do you want me to go back? If you don't have to. You don't have time.
Did she eat your donut? Is that what she said?
You better not have eaten mine.
Okay. No, she got it.
One of my character defects are about to blast out here in a minute and eat my donut.
I feel bad because she paid for it, but they didn't give it to her. And I'm like, no, I have to go get it. She's like,
lies, you ate it.
I'm like,
lies, you ate it.
A big ass coffee. But
I'd be like, let me smell your breath.
Oh man, yeah, it's my treat
breath.
because I've been good all week. But anyways, I gotta watch for it. So I love when we do stuff like this, even if it can be uncomfortable and I have to personally call myself out and stuff. I think it's great to talk about this stuff because character defects are a huge part of recovery. They really are. And who knew I would work on this kind of stuff when I got clean? So today I'm willing to and I want to. So that's it.
I love it. Boy, man, you guys sure covered a ton on that. And I love you guys. I feel like it's been forever since we've been together. And but my heart is warm and fuzzy right now. So I was always a character, but I had no fucking clue what character defects were.
Yeah.
You still are, bro. You still are. Let's put that out there. You're still a character.
But, and those character defects in action, are shortcomings. And it wasn't until I did my first moral inventory that made me fearless. And a lot of my character defects are my sick rationalization of fears, like of how I protect myself. And, like kind of,
Yep.
definitely survival mechanisms, a lot of which don't make sense. Like they were formed when I was a really young child and have no useful place in an adult loving life, and as Andrew was saying, they're super ego driven,
Mm.
super ego driven, like, and I was just oblivious, like I really didn't have tools. I never went for a pile of counseling with anybody. I didn't want anybody looking in my head when I was
Yeah.
partying. Like the last thing I wanted was somebody being like, I'm unraveling all your lies, Milan. I'd be like, no, I've worked so long to build up the web of deceit, and everybody's believing them.
That's so funny.
Um,
Hmm.
and really, in some ways, our character defects are somewhat the things that block us from the sunlight of the spirit. They filter out that light from shining out of us, that is so bright and beautiful, with the addition of freedom, right? And learning to address these defects for me has been a journey of self-liberation,
Mm.
where like it has been the things that have helped make me free. And and with surrender, there's so much about myself that even once I learned about it, that I couldn't change. And like anger remover, fucking number one sucker at it. Like I suck
Yeah.
at remove, but with surrender being part of my life, it right sizes me and lets me know that there's possible help for me to change. And um and then the journey for loving completely with my character defects is actually starting to forgive myself for things I've done inside my shortcomings, taking away some of my self-loathing, you know, learning to love myself enough to let go of behaviors that hurt myself and others,
Mm.
and realizing I am not the defects, but I'm the spirit underneath them.
Yeah.
That's
And
right,
and
man.
and because I used to define myself in that way, and then there was no hope there was no room for forgiveness if that's really what I was, right? So I'm going to leave that there because I'm really interested in some questions. I'm going to play a game with you guys.
Ooh.
When you guys, when I get to ask questions, you guys are going to pick a number. So you'll each
Oh, I
pick your
like
own
that.
questions. So you won't
I'm
even have
scared.
the same
I'm
questions. I mean,
scared.
I'm
obviously,
scared.
once one
I'm
person picks
scared.
a number, then you could pick the same number. But
Brandy, hold
let's,
my hand. Hold my hand,
she,
Brandy. I'm
I'm
scared.
holding
yeah,
it.
with her left hand because the right one's got lots of coffee.
So,
Yeah, it
so,
does. It does.
you ready for my question? We're gonna start with my question, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Yep.
right, Miss Brand Dizzle Friedel. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, we're opening up with a banger. What character defect caused you the most damage before recovery? What character
You,
defect caused you the most damage before recovery?
man, I wish I could make like one word out of a bunch of them. Uh,
It could be a
you
couple,
know,
one or
I
two.
well, I want to go for people pleasing because that is like the most dominant one for me. But if it was like before I really even saw that, I'd say it would definitely be um it would be isolation, and
Mhm.
it was a big one because I didn't I didn't think that I needed anybody to help me, and nor did I want, just like Milan was just saying, like I didn't want anybody to pick in my brain. And if I isolated myself, I protected myself, and I just wouldn't let any doors open for me. I wouldn't be able to hold your hand, Andrew, through this scary
That
time.
would suck.
Right? But I see that today. And then also resentment. Resentment was a killer for me. When I heard after I got in the program that expectations are premeditated resentments, like you ever hear like a line that just like changes how you think, like that's one of them. So, and Love you, Mari. Thank you. And it's okay. If isolation and resentment, like not only am I isolating myself, but I'm not talking about my feelings or how I feel about things. And not only that, I am manifesting situations in my head. Like, well, if I say this, then I know that, and that even happens out of drug use. Like obviously for me, I don't, not so much anymore, but like in the beginning. So I got to do the opposite of that kind of stuff today because that really did. People be like, well, how come you didn't, reach out? And I'm like, I didn't know how to talk about it. Like, I only knew how to lie about it. And if I wasn't around everybody and I isolated myself as much as I could, I mean, even if I was there, I was mentally, physically,
You're like, did
spiritually,
you have
whatever.
drugs? I would have reached out if you had drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, do you got what I need? Like, what are you doing? And otherwise it's like, nah, and, and then, so it's a big one to be able to put myself out there where before I didn't want to, and that's where like, working a program where unity is a big thing that really, really helps me with isolation because I can isolate today and for different reasons, really, and not look at it for what it is. Um, so I'm grateful to be able to like call it out and see it. But it wrecked like probably why it took me so long to get in these rooms was because I isolated myself so much. And like and the combat that I dealt with in my head and in my relationship, the resentments just fueled it. Like it was this like a snowball of resentments. And it never broke, it just got bigger. And the resentment from before didn't get dealt with, it just got buried with the next one. And that's a hard one to get out of. Like if it wasn't the drug use that almost ruined my marriage, it was the resentments that almost ruined my marriage. And so today it's like I don't want to isolate and I need to, make sure I pay attention to it. And I don't want to hold resentments because those affect me spiritually, and when I'm affected spiritually, it affects how I treat myself and how I treat other people. So those are our big ones, and I'd like to say I could just do it once and work on it and feel like I've been willing to have it removed and then it comes back, So again, that's why I like that we're talking about this kind of stuff. So I think I answered the question. Hope I was as
Hey,
people pleasing
Ooh,
or trying to be too
I
perfect or
thought that was amazing.
procrastinating.
yes, that was two people pleaserish, and I need you to go back and answer that again, please.
All right.
Take off the
But
mask.
she'd be like,
Take
okay,
off the
well,
mask.
she'd be like, let's go ahead and try to do that again. Then okay, let's try.
Right.
Love you, Brandy. That was a beautiful answer.
Love you.
Put a
All
little
right.
more Lorraine into it next time.
Yes, please, please.
Right.
If you don't mind, we need to be perfection. Here is what we're going for.
Yeah.
Less Karen, more Lorraine. Come on.
Milan,
Yeah.
Mr. Step 10 Starcic, what character defect caused you the most damage before recovery? Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, I think from my first and second sponsor, they said the top 3 defects are 95% of your problem. But when I look at it, and my top 3 were anger, acceptance, and intolerance. And that's a lack of acceptance. But it really, I think the one that caused me the most problem, because you said me, right? In the question, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if it caused me the most problem, it was acceptance. For sure.
Ooh,
Undeniably. Because,
so true.
I was so self-centered that I thought if I was doing a good enough job, you should all be happy with the roles I assigned. Like, hey man, you got a good role in this play. Like just stick to the freaking script, Brandy. And Andrew, you're not in till scene 2. No cross talking.
Put me in, coach.
Love that.
Put
me in, coach.
It just set me up for constantly being disappointed with people. And when I looked at my resentments and the insane rationalization I had of why I was mad at this person. And and then I go digging to my part. And my part was like, because I fucking expected something I never should have. you know,
Yeah.
because I didn't think you were beautiful in your own actions enough. Because I never gave your soul a chance to flower. Like it cut me off from people in a way that I was so oblivious to.
Yeah.
You know, like if somebody was fading in my life, probably because they were sick of frickin' being controlled or attempted controlled, you know, I was like, well, I'm mad at you anyway for not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like I could rationalize just letting them go out of my life and not even looking back and not even looking into it. Like just, and I see
Not
the
your
far
part.
reaching damages inside that, you know. And the biggest thing was it kept me from knowing anything about serenity.
Mm.
Like I didn't have a speck of space in my brain until I stopped using, first started surrendering, and then did the step work. And once I got in the step work, I'm like, whoa, I don't have to have 5 anger engines running about intolerance and lack of acceptance. Andrew, I swear, wanted you to zip that coat up. You know, but like, you know, and it just stifled me all the time. And I was oblivious to it. You know, like I was so buying that bullshit of delusions and rationalizing. I was like the worst victim. And you know, and it was even myself. I didn't have acceptance for how I was continually hurting and disappointing people. The
Yeah.
role I wanted for me was superhero. And I didn't seem to be able to pull that off so well near the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yep. Okay,
You just
I,
need a
I love
cape.
you. I'm leaving that there. Andrew,
I
what
love
about
you
Andrew?
more. I love you more. I love you more. Well, everything y'all just said, yes, me too. Me too. Um, but what I have kind of written down, what I really thought about was that, like, you know, self-centered fear was the worst, bro. Like that shit, and that rolls in, and I'm gonna tell you all about it, right? Because, and I could never put a name on it, but fear, that self-centered fear, it ran my life. Um,
Mm.
you know, I was afraid of being hurt, right? I was afraid of being like abandoned, um, afraid of not being enough. We always have that like I'm not enough syndrome here, you know. And it really came down to like I was afraid of being like exposed, right, for who I really was, you know, who like who I was, right? I was just fucking a drug addict, bro. I was everything people don't want to be. You know what I mean? You grow up to be not like that. And so I had built a whole personality around that fear, protecting myself from who I really was and from y'all finding out who I really was, right? And that fear really drove me to live in a way where like everything had to be about me. Um, you know, like if nobody else did something for me, I wasn't gonna happen, right? So I had to. So then I took on this role of like I gotta do everything, right? I gotta do everything myself, right? Because everyone else, like if there was an unsafe level to me bringing anybody else into my life or helping me out doing anything. Um, and that's a really bad place to be in, especially if you're like using drugs and it's a snowball downhill, right? And it's like that, like the self-centeredness comes in really hard. That's where they say like the self-centeredness is like at the core of our disease. And that's where that self-centeredness can take over, and where it did take over for me, right? And I remember like waking up and having this mindset of like, you know, how can I harm, you know, how can I get through today without feeling uncomfortable? And it was always about me. It had nothing to do with anybody else, right? It was always about me uncomfortable, me getting my way, me feeling good, me getting to the way to where I needed to get without any tension. Um, it literally, my mindset was not on your side of it. I didn't care about what you were doing, right? It was like me. And that just damaged all my relationships, right? Because um I would justify my behaviors. It didn't matter what was going on, right? Like whether you were wrong, I was wrong. If it got in my way, bro, like I was just tearing it down. And so um it made me a dishonest person. I was constantly lying because I'm just trying to fill that situation's void where I needed, like with the right answer. I needed to tell you the right answer every time. And And when life didn't go my way, like when people didn't meet my expectations, I thought it was unfair. Like I was like, this is so unfair.
Yeah.
Like people are just, why is life beating me down? Like this is, I don't deserve this. I remember feeling like, why is life beating me down, bro? Like why? Right. And that's where like all this fear and all that shit turns into resentment for everybody. Bro, I'm resenting the whole world. Bro. I resent everything that walks because I'm already so into that mindset at this point that I wake up in it, right? I go to sleep in it. And so everything I do in between, I'm just an asshole at this point, right? Even when I have my drugs, bro, I'll be knee deep. I'd have a pocket full of my DOC, bro, and I'm still a dick because I'm that's my behavior now.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, that's what it becomes like. We're just a dumpster fire. And for me, right? And so, you know, drugs were my solution to that self-centered fear. What they did is they gave me that temporary relief from my constant. I had an internal tension all the time. I was just internal tension. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so drugs relieved that internal tension. I wasn't at war with myself for that moment, for those 30 minutes, for that whatever it was. However long I could wrap my brain into melting with those drugs, like I was good, but the problems were still there. They were getting worse. You know, all this shit that happens, like it's like people remember the things that we do to them because most people aren't fucked up walking around in this world, right? Like when we're not on drugs, we remember actions and things that happen. So that's where we come in here and we have a program. We try to make up for these actions and these behaviors that we do specifically, right? And by name and to entities, not even just people. When we act like this to businesses, like we make up for that. So, you know, when I look back on it, like my defects, they weren't like an evil. It wasn't me being an evil person. It was just my misguided survival tactics, right? I was just surviving, and that's how I was doing it, right? That's how I was doing it. That's how I lived. I didn't have any tools. I have these tools that we're learning, right? And so it drove every decision I made. And now I can use it as like a signal to like slow down, pause, like reach out, you know, reconnect spiritually, right? Tap into God.
Mhm.
And I can do something about my problems today. So that's my answer. I think I got off a little bit on just a thing, but I think I answered it pretty well. I love you.
I loved it. I had to say I
Absolutely.
wrote something down when you were saying like that drugs were your solution because that's how we think when we're in active addiction. But then you look back now, it's like they weren't the solution, but they were the main ingredient to my problems. But in the moment, they're like a solution, but
But that
really,
interval of escape just gets shorter and shorter during
yeah,
the end.
yeah,
Like, you know, it was like there was a night I didn't care about anything. Then there was a few
yeah,
hours. And then there was like
yeah,
fucking 5 minutes, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And you
then
still, it's
we're
like, and it still don't see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get so wrapped up at that point, like we'll have our drug, but we just don't have enough for the next day or two. And we're wrapped up still. Right? We're still wrapped
Yeah.
up. Worrying about like not having it 2 days from now. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Great.
That's why I always said like I use before, during, and after everything. Well, I didn't start
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-mm.
And
Just like a
so
weekend, just
it's,
a weekend, every other
yeah.
weekend. Mm.
And then when you were sharing, it made me like, I could relate to so much of what you were saying. And sometimes even though I know I was self-centered, but sometimes it like hits me different. Like how fucking self-centered I know I was in my active
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane the self-delusion that we create in order
Yeah.
to justify or not hate ourselves completely.
Rationalization.
It's crazy, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy, bro. It's
It's
wild.
it's like a whole nother lens when you're clean, to be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, yeah,
Brandy, you got a
that's a
question?
great answer. I do. Okay. Um, all right. Is there a character defect you are truly willing to have? Oh, I wrote that wrong because I rewrote it.
That's all right. You don't have
Is
to ask
there
that one. I'm just kidding.
I know, right? Is there a character defect you are truly willing to have removed or just willing to talk about it?
Milan?
Well, you know, the two right now in my life that I'm really trying to surrender is lack of forgiveness and anger. Like
Mm.
those two right now, I feel like I'm more ready than I've ever been, and then that readiness, that readiness doesn't mean like higher powers like jumping to, hey, Milan's ready, I'm going to do it now, you know. But certain things start to fade, and what I see in this process for me, for like my surrender for my lack of, for my addiction was very quick, very dramatic. But for all my character defects,
Mm.
it's like what I would call like little Christmas miracles start happening, where something happens and and I just don't react in that old way. And it might be 1 out of 10 times, but
Yeah.
it happened, and it had never happened before. And then that just starts to increase. And, so for me, it is about getting entirely ready. It really is getting myself to that point where I'm ready for it to happen, and I see all of the manifestations of it in my life, and I also am able to see what I have to do to change, like what my
Yeah.
part is in that. And my part is like fucking keeping my breath in a normal place, like when I'm getting angry, do I ever realize I'll gasp at some point in it? And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like I'm cutting myself off from the energy of the universe, like the breath,
Yeah.
you know?
Oxygen.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
and like, guess who makes bad decisions when he's oxygen deprived? Right here, right here. I'm like, I go,
Yeah.
Everybody.
boom. Okay, I'm gonna pop.
Hey, you're turning blue, bro.
Yeah.
Breathe,
It's
Milan,
purple. It's
breathe.
purple.
No,
Come
I
on.
won't do
No.
it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You won't make me do it.
Yeah. So I think that's my answer for that. It's not super long, but it's really what's going on in my life
I
these
get it
days.
though. That's
Mm.
good
But
though.
I
I like it.
super love you though, regardless.
I super
And I
love you
super like,
too.
whoa, super jingle
And
bells, I
I
love you
must
tons
know,
today.
why are we not drinking swamp juice, or have you found a way to turn it clear?
I
Uh,
noticed that last time he wasn't either.
so it's like timing of today meant I had to drink my swamp juice early.
Oh,
I
we look
had
I'm a
forward
swamp
to
little,
it,
juice.
whether you
I'm
know
a
it or
little
not.
sad.
I
It's
know.
I
so
like to see it
swampy.
drip down the
It's so
cup. Yeah.
swampy. It pumps me up. It's
I'm
so
pumped.
swampy.
I'm
It's so
pumped.
I feel healthy watching you
It's
drink
still
it,
got
uh,
is
kale
what it
from our
is.
garden in it, man. It's
it's
like,
That's
so
wow.
nice.
thick. It's so thick. I think like Brandy and I get a little bit of the nutrients from it.
I know,
Seriously.
right?
It's powerful.
When you're
If
like
I
back there
leave
like
it
going,
sitting, I gotta like
like
hit the
every
thing.
two
I'm like,
minutes you're
come
like
on. That's right.
where are we at? What are we doing?
Brandy's
Okay.
asking
Okay.
you.
Okay.
All right. I think I rewrote it right, so I don't have to go back to see. Is there a character defect you are truly willing to have removed or just willing to talk about it?
No, I'm pretty perfect as it is.
Yeah, I
Honestly.
bet.
Pretty good.
Ooh.
So we'll pass. No, yeah. I mean,
So that's my
we can.
answer.
I mean, this is really the answer or the question that I was ducking for the whole podcast, right? No, this is where we grow, man. This is where we grow. For me, control and procrastination, I or both, one and or the
Yeah.
other before the other, right? I feel like they're both intertwined for me too. I will procrastinate in order to gain some control in the situation when I don't even need.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm
That's good
seriously.
Yeah,
insight.
And
that's
look,
Yep.
and both are rooted right in fear, and that fear that we talk about, both of them. Control makes me want certainty before I act, and then procrastination is what happens when that certainty never comes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's where I'm like
yeah.
controlling this thing, right? And I'll delay like important conversations, decisions that like could carry some emotional weight. I'll delay that, right? I'll tasks that require me to be a little bit vulnerable, me getting to work on time, I'll be a couple minutes late just so somebody can talk to me, just to see if somebody says something. Like that's me.
Mm.
That's me in a nutshell, bro. That is me. That is what I deal
Bro, you were
with.
late to the meeting on Wednesday, and I was like, what the fuck? Where's
Bro,
Andrew?
I'm telling
But
you,
I was
man.
hosting, so I didn't say anything.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy. It's
noticed, okay?
crazy. And it's not
Sorry to
laziness.
interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. It's not laziness. It's like it's that hesitation run by that fear. It's all in that self-centered fear that it comes from. It's where it's rooted.
Mm.
But procrastination becomes a way of staying in control by not acting.
I
Yeah.
never
Literally.
realized that. And I really actually think that's a
Yeah.
big thing with a lot of people.
It's sick.
Yeah.
It is what has me the sickest in my just day-to-day life, right? It is what makes me act out the worst. It is the one thing I have to deal with, and that is a constant work in motion for me. But if I don't move forward, I don't have to risk the failure, discomfort, or disappointment, right? Like waiting feels safer than stepping into anything at that point, right? That's where my like sick
Yeah.
feeling goes into. So what that means to me, like in my recovery today, is how I think about it is they don't really scream for attention the way my old behaviors did, right? As I think about it, right? They whisper. Like, it's like a whisper for me. Um, and it makes them dangerous. Um, but it keeps me mentally restless if I don't tackle them, if I what I do is I have to get real organized too. Like I have notebooks everywhere. I have like a different notebook for everything, which that organization tactic is starting to become unorganized, if
Yeah.
that makes any
Yeah.
sense, right? Like the
Yeah.
more, like you have notebooks, you try to stay organized, and then if you have too many notebooks, which notebook do you have? And it's just it's getting a little out of hand. But
Yeah.
again, leaves in the pool problems today, bro. I'm okay with all of this. um how I try to actively work on that is calling it what it is, right? And what am I really afraid of? Like why am I doing this? Like where is that rooted at? Um, and that's where I try to find the truth, right? Like sometimes it's just because I want to piss my boss off because I don't like her, right? And so I'll just be late
It's like
to
I'm
like
bored.
seriously, man, because look, I'm not using drugs, so I don't all that hustle and bustle of the going to getting and
Yeah.
all that little shit doesn't happen. So I got to create it in other ways in my life to create that angst and that anxiety driven part because bro, I've got to get it somewhere, right? And
Yeah.
it seems silly to talk about it like that, but like this is why we're talking about it, so we can be aware of it. But I have to take action, right? And it's an imperfect action. It's just trying to be better. Action creates clarity, and not the other way around, right? Clarity doesn't create action. Like I got to create that clarity. Um, I think that's it. I think I answered it. It was short and sweet. That's all I wanted to say about
No, it's
that.
great. That was
I
great.
love that.
Love y'all, man.
I wrote stuff down. I got to say, I went to the doctor yesterday and I was behind a person. I tried to take a picture, but it was blurry, and their license plate was for love. And I was like, oh, there's an
Oh,
Andrew license plate.
I need to get a license plate like that. That would
Yeah,
be
you
great.
Yeah.
do.
I don't know why I
Yep.
don't have
You
that
should
yet.
get one that says, I don't know if you can have hashtag, but hashtag LLA. That would be
I bet I
great.
could get that. I'm gonna look into
I haven't
that, Brandy.
seen
You
no
think I'm
You
lying?
should.
hashtags on license plates, but maybe
I
I'm
I
on
haven't.
know.
it.
I know.
But what would be
Yeah.
another one at LLA maybe, or you can't really have any symbols, I don't think, on your
No, it's
Yeah.
just letters and numbers,
So
unless.
what would be
Yeah.
a good one? Just LLA or
Just LLA.
fuck it, let's try it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen them short like that before.
Mm-hmm.
But so I thought about yesterday when I saw that. I was like, oh, there we go. And I was excited to punch in the password, and there was no password.
There was me too. What is going on with
Yeah,
this
which is
Zoom thing?
cool, but
Now they're switching
I
up.
didn't have to
Today
punch it
there was
in.
no password.
No.
No password.
What the?
What the mother
Yeah.
hell,
I was like, oh, I know. Oh, wait, there's no password.
bro? This is
I
I
don't
know.
get it.
Get with it.
I
Get
like.
with it.
I didn't make it create a password, but once it did, I went in and saw that it needed it, so
now
I
it's like we're
changed
all
it to love.
prepared.
And
Got
I
prepared. We
didn't
got
click
love,
no
and
password.
now we
They're like,
don't
we just
need
want to
one.
make sure you're paying attention, so we're gonna just, do
They're like,
this.
that's what y'all thought. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
I'm meaning to say.
Okay,
is
so I
nuts.
ask myself now, is there a character defect I am truly willing to have removed or just willing to talk about it? And because I'm an overachiever, I have more than one, of course. You hit on it too. Procrastination's a big one for me. I'm a lot better at it, but because it's still an issue, am I just willing to talk about it? It wasn't on my top couple, but it doesn't mean that it still doesn't linger. And but I think a big one for me is all over the place I can be is perfectionism. Like I always say, like I'm the most imperfect perfectionist. And I truly think if I ever achieved perfection, it would be boring. So it's not like the idea of getting somewhere, but like I've always dealt with like if things aren't perfect, then something might go wrong. So like I do the same thing every day. Like I literally feed my dog the same time. I make my bed the same time. I do so much stuff the same time. My little OCD and control at the same time. But because I'm afraid in my mind that if things go off course or if things get chaotic, I'm gonna start losing it emotionally or spiritually, mentally. And not that I'm afraid I'm gonna go use, but I know that it's like not that I'm not afraid I'm gonna use, but like if I don't do something about it, like I might try to outsource this or something. And so I've worked really hard on perfectionism. And I think a lot of the perfectionism comes from like self-doubt and like lack of confidence in things. And so I want it to be perfect. Like the art I do, I don't will not sell it to anybody because I don't think it's good enough, but I'll give it to anybody. And
And that's
and
where you're
so
wrong. That's where I'm just cross talking.
yeah, well,
You're
and
wrong.
that's like yeah, people I find stuff that I've made and I see it on on a website that's like people charge $85 for this.
Your shit's
What?
fire, Brandy.
And I just yeah, I wouldn't. I'm like, oh man, I'll just give it to them. Like I made two dog blankets and two blankets for people for Christmas. Those things are like $100 when you purchase one without making it yourself. So stuff like that, like the perfectionism is something that I talk about it and I know, and I would like it to be removed, but at the same time, I'm not willing to let go of it. And like I remember sitting there for like a couple weeks working with my sponsor, like and it took me a couple weeks to say out loud that if I don't act on this and I don't do anything, my world will not fall apart. And that was hard. And it's so hard for me to really absorb it. And I told her, I talked to my sponsor, and why I realized it came all the way back, it goes back to I mean, more, a lot of childhood and stuff like that, like trying to be perfect because I wanted to be liked. And I grew up with a reading disability. I had epilepsy. So like I didn't want to be the girl with epilepsy that couldn't do things right. So I think a lot of it rooted from that. But then also when my husband and I got clean, when he quit using, we slept for a couple of days, of course. And I woke up and well, at least I did because the house was trash. And I remember that feeling of like so overwhelmed that ever since then I've been a freak about my cleaning. And it took me a while to realize that that's the moment I think of when it comes to it. So, but perfectionism gets into a lot of my life. And again, I say perfect sounds boring, but my brain says it has to be perfect. It has to be. Like I in the bathroom, and okay, I was probably really is OCD. My husband like uses shampoo conditioner, and then I'm like, I'll go and I will straighten his shampoo and conditioner, and I make sure it's like shampoo, conditioner, body wash. And I know it's way worse than you guys even know.
Those are the
And
good
so
things.
yeah, like his towel, like he just like doesn't put it back right, and and it's okay if it's not right. It really is. But my brain still is having a hard time understanding that. And and I didn't deal with a lot of that when I was using because it wasn't something I focused on so much. So I focus on it a lot more now that I'm clean. And but I do want to work on it because it's like people think like, well, it's not an issue. At least your house is clean. It's like, yeah, but it's an issue here. But I also say, if it's messy here, it's messy here. And
Yep.
so it's something that I have to work on. I want to work on. I don't want to lose, the benefits I feel like I get from it, but I don't want to rack my brain with it anymore. And I'll talk about it until I'm willing to to give it up, I guess. I hope that was perfect enough.
I love
It
that.
was. Mm-hmm.
I
One,
just really opened up to you guys just now. I didn't realize
Love
I
you,
that.
love
Brandy.
that.
Yeah.
Andrew, pick a number between 1 and 9.
Ooh,
Oh, I forgot about this. Yay.
7.
7. Okay, here we go.
Hold on. Yeah, 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't repick.
Procrastinate.
Like, there's
I know.
only
I was trying to mess you
I was
up.
like, whoa, hold on a second. Okay, we learned that our greatest progress often follows our greatest humiliations. Can you find freedom in admitting that you were wrong today, or is your pride still a master you're forced to serve?
Mm.
Yeah, I can absolutely admit that I'm wrong today. You know, if you're asking me to admit that I was wrong today, um,
Not right
yeah,
now.
yeah, no, I can absolutely admit it. I don't mind admitting that I'm wrong. A lot of times I don't see it. A lot of times it'll take somebody else showing me or it's slapping me in the face. But I don't admit that. I don't have a problem admitting that I'm wrong, right? That whole thing doesn't drive me today. I used to be a very, very prideful and had that ego running the show. But you know, I thought about this when you were talking about this earlier, Miss Brandy. This will bring it home with the answer. We used to have a lot of these defects as used to be like disguised or like masqueraded as strengths, right?
Mm.
Um, and the ones that kind of came to my mind is like control, like looked like responsibility, right? It was like masqueraded as
Yeah, that
responsibility,
was
right?
good.
And
Right.
service.
And service, right?
Yeah.
Pride looks like confidence.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like pride, that prideful, it looks like just confidence, right? Avoidance look like impatient. Avoidance look like independence or strength, right? If I'm avoiding you, it means I don't need you. It means I'm
Yeah.
strong. Look, I don't need you. I got my shit taken care of over here, bro. I look like I'm an independent person. I'm just avoiding you,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Then
right.
I
I
have
don't
then I
need
have this
you.
anger. Anger looked like honesty, right? If I'm angry, it looks like I'm honestly mad because maybe you wronged me or whatever, and I can bring that as like an honest thing, right? And so these assets, they would destroy my relationships, right? Because um, it didn't really allow me to come to the table who I was, right?
Mm.
I had no pause button, right? It was just I was just filtering through all these defects, and I thought I was becoming better. I just thought that that's what people did.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody teaching me anything different. Um, and so until I came in here, I wasn't able to learn that. Right? I don't know, right? Like shame kept me sick, right? I already felt like
Yeah.
when I came here, I felt like I was a defective human being. I thought I was like I was broke. And so when my behavior caused harm, I couldn't change it. I would just escape and run, right? I just run until something kept caught up to me. Um, it just kept me in that cycle of using. So I think that answer. I'm quick and easy on
Yeah,
that one.
I
There we
love
go.
it. Okay,
Yeah, good.
Ben, 1 to 9. And you obviously
3.
know what 7 is. 3, she says.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna
Ooh,
say three.
Were
but
you?
you didn't.
I
Okay.
almost said 1, but I didn't do it.
Okay, we cling to our defects because they give us a false sense of power in a world we can't control. Ooh, this sounds right up your alley. Are you willing to surrender the protection your anger or manipulation provides in exchange for the vulnerability of true freedom?
Hmm.
That's really good. That's a really good question because I think like how Andrew was saying, like a lot of times when I'm not like for myself act in a certain way, um, like anger, I'm hurt, and so I'm just going to be angry at you because I don't want you to know you hurt me. And and so there's things that like I don't know if I truly, want to get removed or if I want to just like manipulate it to where it sounds healthier. Maybe it's not such a bad character defect, you know? So when it comes to stuff like that, like I know that I need to let go of the control of perfectionism or overthinking is a big one for me. But I don't like people to know that. I like people to think I'm naturally perfect and I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I didn't overthink this at all, even though I've done 10 scenarios in my head already. And of course, it gets a little bit more mild, and being in recovery, but at the same time, these are things that were a part of me for so long that I have to learn a new way of thinking at it. Like, do I take this road or this one? And so I try to look at it for what it is, and see the things that I know that I need to let go of. Um, there was another one on here that like dishonesty. I mean, I'm an honest person today, because I don't like to make amends. So I try to be as honest as I can and nice as I can. Doesn't mean I'm
Paperwork.
perfect
Hate
at
that
it.
shit.
Yeah, big time. And but put it on here. Um, but avoidance is a big one because I am trying to not even just avoid the situation, but avoid feelings. Like if I think that um someone's going to do me wrong, I'll kind of avoid them a little bit. And I've learned that a lot in recovery, like that I know I need to work on. Like if I don't like how somebody's being, and there's you get in a room with a bunch of people that are different, there's going to be people that my brain just doesn't understand. And so when I can't control it or help them or whatever it is, or even accept it, I avoid it. I'm just gonna walk away. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Peace.
And yeah, and that's ultimately not healthy. It's not a healthy way to do it. I feel like I'm saving myself from some feelings of like anger and frustration or an amends I'm gonna have to make. So I just avoid the person, and that's not the solution. It's not a solution to anything, really. So why I feel like I can do that with certain people. And I wasn't like that really in the beginning of my recovery. I think I've become like that a little bit. And I need to remind myself that like, we all got stuff we got to work on. And I need to make sure my side of the street's clean. And with that is like putting myself in check and in the most gentle way I can on these character defects that I can mask as something else. Like me really avoiding this person, it's really I say I'm just, I don't have time, or oh, I didn't hear, or um enough people are saying something. I don't need to say something. It's okay. And that's just not how it works though. So to rename things and look at them differently is manipulating the situation, controlling it, procrastinating, perfectionism, overthinking, people pleasing is all of that. And it's something that I know that I want to be aware of at the same time. It's not fun in recovery. Have to look back and see these. It's like making amends, and when you've already been clean for a while, it's like almost a little bit harder to do it because you know better. And so when these character defects that I've felt like I've worked on, maybe not conquered, if they flare up, I need to look at them from what they are and not justify them in a way that is that's pleasing to me, so I don't feel bad about it. I don't know if that answered it, but I feel like a pretty good
Woo! I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sizzling frying pan. Okay. Brandy,
It's
can
this
you pick a
coffee
number
got me
between
going.
1 and 9 for me? Because I
Me?
can see them.
Why not me?
Because it's ladies first. If we get to do it twice, you get to do it the next
That's
time.
true. Damn
How
it.
about number 1?
Oh,
Resentments.
number 1. Okay. Our character defects were often our best attempt at survival before we found a spiritual solution. Can I look at my most persistent defect with compassion, acknowledging its original purpose while surrendering its use in my life today?
You gave him an easy one.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
right? You should
I
have done
love
like
you
stars,
guys.
like how hot you want this question.
Yeah, it's like we just put in 5 more adjectives that make it real ball breaking.
Yeah, right.
About your mother. No.
I love you guys.
We'll
I'm
be
sorry
here
I
for
didn't mean to
longer
mess
2
you up,
hours.
Milan.
No, it didn't mess me up. So the question again was, can I look at my most persistent defect with compassion, acknowledging its original purpose while surrendering its use in my life today? And, it comes down to anger. And what has really come to me through the step work in the last 6 months is like I was in a highly abusive environment physically as a child. Like from the time I was 3 to the time I was 15, I fought once a week, all the time. And so I have a real problem not reacting like I'm being attacked, especially if I feel like if I'm not given any options in a situation, it's almost like I feel cornered, just like you would
Yeah.
physically, and have to fight your way out. And it is really, really, really not a good way to react when you're trying to be loving. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I get it.
And the faster things happen at the speed of life, the easier it is for me to fall into that. I'm this little child who was like left at a daycare. There was this girl there, man. I remember this girl there where she was just like, I don't know if like she had some kind of problems or something, but she was like literally like putting me in a cage with a wild cat. And she would just like claw and scream and bite it. And man, it was like, I remember going home. My mom's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's that girl." Like I would like sit there, and it finally, like one day, man, I just like attacked back. And then I learned from that, it's like, man, the first one to attack is generally the one walking away.
Mhm.
Like that's, you know, like, but then
Yeah.
at school, what I learned was that the first one who throws the punch gets the detention. So I could dodge one punch from anybody, and then I would go in and kill. And I would literally go. I'm like, everybody. I would literally say to the crowd at the school, everybody, acknowledge he threw the punch. And they would say it, and then I'd go in and just knock them out.
Addict behavior starting off real early, boy. Addict behavior.
Yeah.
Love that shit.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, I always
It's
told
so
them, like,
funny.
don't throw the first punch, but don't do nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
My
it.
dad
It's
would
like,
say that,
yeah.
but he would be like, but look, he said, but look, if you get hit first, you might not get up. So he's like, you need to figure out if you're not going to throw that first punch. If you're not going to, you better know who you're not throwing that first punch to, because he hit you, you're done. You're done.
Yeah,
You're fucking
that
done.
was it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I had to make sure I was just out of their reach. You know, like I said, there was some fast hockey punching motherfuckers in my school.
Yeah.
You know, and so with this question, it talks about to look at it with compassion. I definitely have, you know, a desire to help make this better. You know, like compassion being different than empathy in that respect, and I desire this to change in my life for the better. You know, and it is, and I'm surrendering it. You know, like I'm constantly surrendering it because it doesn't serve a purpose in my life. You know, like as far as I'm concerned right now, if I can replace all that anger with love, my life's going to be so much smoother. Like just, I know mornings with my wife and I will be a lot better. You know, like I can just wake up and wrong side of the bed, and I could feel that just like rumbling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please don't corner me right now. Please don't.
Yeah.
And that's it for me on
Right.
that. Yep.
Love that, man. Love that. Ready for my question, Brandizzle?
Yes.
Yep. Bring it on, Crouton.
How has your understanding of defects changed in recovery? How has your understanding of defects changed?
Because they didn't, you know, for me, defects of character were not defects of character. You know, like first I didn't even understand the term. I'd probably never really even heard it. So for me to you know come in and look at it, like I remember when I got clean, my grandma was like, you know, I'm like 28 days clean, and she's like, now you have to do the hard work. And I was like, what do you mean? I just spent 28 days in treatment working hard on myself. And she's like, well, now you need to clean up the wreckage. And that's not just what I did to other people, what I've done to myself and what I've conditioned myself in. And you know, but it even goes back further. Like when I did some work with my sponsor, it was a thing that we did, that Genesis process. And it was what is projected lies and survival lies. Okay. So with those came some character defects because I was protecting myself. And then with that, like, you know, I didn't grow up. I wasn't a kid who was like, I just want to be an isolator. Like, I just want to procrastinate. You know, I didn't say that when I was a kid. So they became a part of me. And
Isolator.
but again, like, yeah, right. Make it sound fancy. But I didn't see them as being that what is it, impactful on my life until I came to these rooms and I started to pick them each apart. Well, not even that, being able to name them, because I didn't think people pleasing was a problem. I didn't think that was a character defect. I thought it was like I was a good person, or this is like it's a good character, right? And then to be able to look at these defects that not only affect other people, but truly affect me. It starts with me. Whatever I can't hold on to is how it really affects other people. If I let my overthinking get out of hand and I can't handle it, it's going to affect other people the way that I am. And so it's, yeah, I've looked at it so differently now. I think I said in the meeting last night that, like, I used to think ignorance is bliss, and sometimes it is, but when I'm trying to grow in my spirituality and my recovery and just Brandy in general, I can't avoid this stuff.
Ignorance is
And
piss, not bliss.
Oh, I
I
love
like
that.
that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
write
that's
that
so
shit
funny.
down. Ignorance is
It is
piss. Okay.
piss. They'd be
Yeah.
like, no, don't you mean bliss? No, I said it right. Piss.
No, no, yeah, yeah.
I was
So,
pissing
I
all
look
over my
at
life.
it, right? Really, really, that's what it is because,
Upwind.
it's like, well, I didn't know. I didn't know. So I'm going to be happy with that. But really, it's like, I didn't know. I want to learn more about that. Like, I need to know, what can I do differently and be okay with, like, I didn't understand that I was trying to protect myself with it, with some of them, but like I said, it doesn't serve me that purpose anymore. So I need to look at it in a way and work on it hard because it's not an, one and done thing. So I look at character defects a lot differently. I know what character defects are today. And if you were to look online, I mean, I didn't go for this one, but there's like this list that's like almost 200. They could be the same defect, different word kind of thing, really, when you think about it, but there's a lot out there. And I'm not going to pick that list up because I'm not trying to highlight everything on there.
Yeah, I was
But
like, I got them all. I got them all. I swear.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
gave me one hell of
Like,
a step 6 to work on in treatment.
oh man, I'll tell you what. But I look at character defects today as something that as things I get to work on, and I don't want to just work on them a little bit and, like, read the sentence, mark the box. Like, it's something I know that it takes work. Like when I first did when did my first 6, it was like and 7, I prayed on people pleasing for a long time. And I'm instant gratification, right? So I wanted to be like, oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. And about a year later, I had to look back and see how my actions changed and how I did things differently. So it was like something that it's not a real quick thing. It's just like I had to retrain my brain. Just like I had to retrain my brain not to pick up drugs when I was upset or if I was whatever. These character defects are something that they're training. It's what I want. I want to be able to do this differently. And so I don't know if that answered it, but I definitely look at character defects a lot differently than I ever did before, and the understanding of them a lot more. And I will probably always work on character defects, but I get to. So that's my answer.
You don't mean
I love
if you're
that.
awesome. You're awesome,
Woo-wee.
bro.
Well, in
Hell yeah.
Brandyland.
Hell yeah. You ready, Milan?
I am like ready, Freddie.
How has your understanding of defects changed in recovery?
Well, it went from 0 to whatever level I'm at now. Like I don't claim 100%, but like infinity times 0 is still 0. So
Yeah.
like it's more than infinity times. That's all I'm saying. Like it's somebody said something at a meeting yesterday, and I really liked it in their share. When you put yourself in the sunlight of the spirit, it's like you become a plant that can't help but grow. And it's like, we are like plants inside this program where, like, if you have good soil, if you have nutrients, if you have water and you have sunlight, a plant will just can't help but grow.
Yeah.
And when we put ourselves inside this program, put ourselves in the sunlight of the spirit and give ourselves like the nice soil. What's that nice soil? That's us having our spiritual awakening, clearing out our defects. We're going out, we're weeding,
Yeah.
and sometimes, you know what? You got to go a couple times a week to weed certain weeds. They just come back so fast, and my character defects are something that, from what I have seen, I have yet to see the perfect individual in the program. Like I have seen people with 58 years still get bitchy. And I'm not cutting anything up. But what I'm saying is we may become entirely ready to have these things removed, but I don't think they ever fully get
Mm,
removed.
Yeah.
You
mm,
know,
mm.
it's like how in some of the literature it talks about the ego, right? Like you never totally crush your ego. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of these defects are born, right? So what it is for me is, kind of starting to manage my responses. And just like how gratitudes, like it, if you feel the space around your negative thoughts about the world in the day with gratitudes, flexing that muscle makes you think more positive thoughts, right?
Hmm.
And it's just like when I am given space for action, if I fill it with service or doing something loving, I'm probably going to act out on less shortcomings. Like
Yeah.
I'm filling that void with, filling that space around where I might be a little shit with goodness, then, it starts to replace it because, you know, we are naturally running away from pain as human beings. It's why
Yep.
people buy gym passes and never fricking show up. Like they're just like, whoa, okay, like I want the good feeling, but I don't want the pain.
Yeah.
And so if you make it, if we make it that we start having all these good feelings from better actions, we're going to start doing them more often because the other
Facts.
ones are still going to cause us pain. Like it might have served its purpose in the past, like a lot of it says, but a lot of it's useless now. Like
Mm.
we don't need to manipulate our family for them to love us if we're doing loving things. Like we just don't.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't need to lie to a client because I'm not doing my job adequately if I'm doing a really good job,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So there's
Yeah.
there's so much of it that just starts to fade as we start acting different. And I have
Mm.
no clue if I answered that question or not. But I
Oh,
love
that
you
was a great
guys.
Yes,
answer.
you did. I love you
That was a
so
great
much, man.
answer.
And then one of my most favorite, it reminds me of one of my most favorite quotes in the world. Very simple, very powerful. Addiction is the fear of pain. Close quote.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's it,
Close
man.
that quote. Don't let anything
Done.
anybody cross talk on
Yeah.
it.
That's it. It's the fear of
Quote
pain,
closed.
bro. Done.
Quote closed.
Done. Done.
That quote's
So,
closed.
so question: how has my understanding of defects changed in recovery? Hashtag LLA. Hopefully, I can put that on a license plate. My understanding of character defects have changed completely, bro. Since getting into recovery, before I got clean, I thought character defects, like I literally thought that meant something was wrong with me. I just thought that meant I had problems, which I do. Um, but I meant that it was something fundamentally wrong with me. Like I was broken, like I was a broken person, flawed beyond repair. Um, it really gave me a way to think that I was less than other people, right? That's really where my natural, like I'm less than, came in there. Um, and what recovery has taught me is like these character defects are not who I am. They're just like the patterns I've learned, right? Um, as I've developed a way to survive in my life, um, it's a way that they've protected me so far, and they've protected me. It's a way I've coped with that pain, right? Addiction is the fear of pain. It's how I'm coping with that pain. Before I had a spiritual tool in my tool bag, that's how I dealt with my pain. And understanding that, truly understanding that, right, has changed everything for me. Um, instead of like seeing these defects as like instead of seeing them as like failure, like labeled as failures, right? I begin to see them as like bits and pieces of information that I can work with, right? That I can use to work on myself. It's no longer just like a label, right? It's something that it's like a work in progress now. I can see them as like a symptom of my disease, right? Like a symptom of my
Mm.
disease, not the disease itself. You with me? Like that's where it can change for me. Like they're not. they're not the same thing, right? Like I can see that it is a symptom of my overwhelming disease that I have, right? And it's something that I'm no longer to try. Like I can't eliminate them. You know, I used to think that I was going to have to work my whole life to become a perfect person, right? Like from point A to point B, I work on these things, and then when I finally become a perfect person, then I can die happily. That's not the case. You know, the beauty in life is being able to be who we are with all of our flaws, all of our pros and cons that we have, right? And being able to live, you know, happy, joyous, and free in the vacuum of that, right? Like being who we are, right? And dealing with the people that come and go out of our lives that love us because of who we are, not because of who we're acting, because we think we need to act this way, right? A lot of us
That's
used
a
to
big
live
one.
there. That's a big one. That's a big one, right? To allow we can finally, when we stop doing that, when I finally stop doing that, I can finally live as Andrew on a day-to-day basis and bring who I am to the table every time. But what, you know, the goal is that awareness, right? And that willingness. And I got to practice this too. This is something that takes a lot of practice because these defects are not going to go anywhere. They're not disappearing, right? As I grow spiritually, though, they lose power, right? As I grow spiritually, as I maintain my spiritual conditioning, right, those defects lose power because I'm actively working on them and I'm actively surrendering, right? This is another layer of surrender comes into this thing, right? I'm surrendering what I cannot control of those defects, right? And I'm doing what I can with what I can, and then I'm surrendering the rest, right? And letting it go, moving on to the next one, right? It allows me to lighten the load of my day and my life, the whole shit, the whole thing. You know, I'm not going to fight them anymore. You know, the work is in the surrender process for me. That's where the work is. You know, they slowly, they diminish with time. And they show up differently. There's another layer to it. I've found out, like, as time goes by, these defects will show up differently too.
Yeah.
You know, early in recovery, they were loud. They were loud AF, as the kids would say. They were loud as shit, bro.
Yes.
Right? Like it's like instead of like they just show like they were so loud you could see them, and now it's kind of like that quiet, impatient, you know, procrastination that hits with me. You
Yeah.
know, those resentments that kind of come in, but I'm clean, right? Almost clean 4 years, so I got it going on, right? But they can get masked and disguised, and then it can become a problem before I know it. You know, if I'm not working on myself, if I'm not working a program, not working the steps, right? I'm not in some kind of proactive recovery thing, man, because this my disease is super super proactive, and it's what is it, what do they say, it's our disease is
Fit as fuck.
yeah, no, it ascends, what is it, it grows, so my recovery has to grow too. What is that, what, you know what I'm talking about?
Progressive.
Progressive. My disease is
Yeah.
progressive, but then here's where it comes around, and I'm told, and I read in my literature that my recovery can be progressive as well, so that's where I have to be more progressive in my recovery than I was in my disease, because I'm not getting any younger. So everything's kind of getting a little harder to do every day. Everything takes a little more time. So I just got to be more proactive at it. Thank you for helping me out with that one, Milan.
Woo.
I'm done.
I love it.
Love y'all.
I love it too. I ask
Brandy.
a question now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This seems to be my theme, so we're gonna go with this. What does progress, not perfection, look like when it comes to character defects?
Okay, so you know, I'm a stickler about this progress towards perfection. I
You
like,
are.
yeah,
You're so weird.
man, it's all right. It's all right. You know, Bill
Yeah,
Wilson
yeah.
corrected himself inside the 12 steps and 12 traditions book. And you know, and quite frankly, he said so because it was about step 6. We're entirely ready. And it's just like we have to know the goal of what we're doing. You know, like, are we trying to get rid of anger just to be like,
Yeah.
like, you know, you're trying to get rid of
Yeah.
anger because you want to love.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get rid of fear because you want faith.
Yeah.
you know, and you're trying to get rid of intolerance because you want acceptance and tolerance in your life. And so it's like there has to be, for me, and from my understanding, like I can progress to being a shit pile. I could progress back to being a junkie. I could progress to the angriest man alive. And that's still progress. And it just, it's like for me, I would hope that my growth means I'm not becoming a bigger dick. I'm becoming a bigger human, more connected to my spirit. And so I really see that for me, I really need that, well, what does he say in that book? He speaks kind of about it being like the light of our higher power shining as a beacon for us to work towards, you
Mm.
know? And for me, maybe I'm a bit idealistic, but it's just that it's like I like looking up rather than looking down. And
Yeah.
I want to be going towards things getting better in my life. And that progress then has to go in a direction that's positive. And
Yep.
and and so, that concludes Milan's rant of the day.
I
But
like that.
it's something I absolutely believe in. And like I think of it like when you see fish in the river, like the salmon coming up, and it's just like when they hit a spot where they can't swim anymore, like
And they're
where
just,
where the
yeah.
man has fucked up the stream and it can't go, they just like circle and die.
Hmm.
They can't get to where they need to go. And it's just
Yeah.
like, but when there's the river, you watch them. I've watched them jump 8 feet through the air to make it up a waterfall. Why? Because they're wanting to progress. I don't want to be
Yeah.
that. I want to be that thing.
I want to be that fish.
I want
I
to
want
be
to be a
that
I want to be
salmon.
that
fish,
salmon, bro.
man.
Hey,
I want to be that
um,
salmon.
honestly, Milan, the answer could have been a little more perfect. Try better next time.
Yeah.
I
Thank
will.
you.
It's
I'll
progress.
progress
It's
towards it,
progress.
man. If you repeat the question in 5 minutes, you get a different answer.
I love that. My brain's the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
But please don't ask the question again because I don't want to have to think about that, right? It's
Oh,
like the
that's
please
so
don't.
funny. That's really funny. I liked how you were referring to, like, when you have fears or when you want to, let go of fear, you really want more faith. And like these things that these character defects are really just uh what we, the opposite of what we really want.
Mhm.
Like procrastination, even like I'd like to, I mean, do things on time, of course, but like not I had more patience with myself and more, not patience, I would say more driven, but that's not really what it is. But the point is, I like how you were saying that, because they do, if you just like the opposite or the combat to it is really what we're striving for.
In step 6 in the treatment center, we wrote all our defects down and we had arrows to what we wanted them to be. And I found it to be the
I
first
like
time
that.
in the steps. It was the first time in the steps where I was like, oh, I actually have hope and a direction, you know?
Yeah.
There's a You actually
Yeah.
saw
I've
what was
never really
going on
looked.
here.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
like I get all my sponsees to do that at step 6. I'm like,
I love
okay,
that. I love it.
let's
Like that.
turn this into hope right now, and
Yeah.
and kind of like hope with like a visualizable, like, and then what it was is in the questions it was like, how would your life be if you were living that other extreme instead
We're
of
all
the
visual
one?
people. We're
You
all
know,
visual people.
and
Yeah.
I
just
love that.
writing out those sentences, I was like,
Love it.
whoa, my pink cloud got wider. And I was like, whoa, there's
Yeah.
room for a couple people up here. You get up on my couch.
Brandy's got all neon. It
Yeah.
got all neon highlighted when that
Yeah.
happened, bro.
Mine had like little
Funny.
Little
laser
lights.
beams.
I love that. Because I think all of us are, but I am a super visual person, and especially
Yeah.
like early
Yeah.
on in recovery when I'm trying to go through these processes, I need visual things to like
I
help me.
Me
laminated
too.
that page. And I like,
It's
so
Yeah.
for like
beautiful.
the first few months, it was just like, today I'm going to try to take fear
I'll be using
and
that.
turn it to
I'll be
faith.
using that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wrote it down
Hmm.
because I like that. I do. I did
Yep.
that scenario kind of thing with my sponsor when it came to stuff like perfectionism. Like, how would it be if I continue to be like this? How would it be if I stopped doing this? And what would be this outcome that I would get from it? And I
Hmm.
really had to I had to like muster up and say, okay, my life will not fall apart if I don't. Okay, I get it. And it was, but I had to write it out and think about it, like think about that alternative instead of what I'm
Mm-hmm.
focusing on too much. So
Mm-hmm. I'll take that question,
great answer.
Brian.
All right, all right. What does progress, not perfection, look like when it comes to character defects?
That's a really, really good question. For a long time, I misunderstood the whole phrase progress, not perfection.
Mm,
For me, it was a way to lower the bar for a long time, you know. And then when I think about it now, it was an excuse for not doing better, not going faster, not holding myself accountable. Coming from that background of shame and self-criticism, right? I believe that if I wasn't constantly pushing myself, like I'd fall apart.
mm,
And what recovery has now taught me is that perfection was never my motivator. Fear was. We're talking a lot about that fear today, that self-centered
yeah.
fear. Like that was my motivator then, and I thought it was, that perfection. And before recovery, this perfectionism thing told me that if I didn't get everything right, um, or if I wasn't going to do it completely perfect, like I wouldn't try at all. I don't know if y'all can feel me on that. Like
Yep.
I have a really, really, this is a really, really tough one for me. Where like, if I don't know I'm going to win the race, bro, I'm not going to be at the race. If I don't know that I'm going to do that thing so like perfect or like be everything I needed it to be and look good for everybody else, like I'll probably not be there. I'll find a way to get
Yep.
That's the
myself
why
out of it.
bother syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah. It's
man.
bad with me, bro. It's so bad with me.
I feel
It's so
that.
bad with me. Used to be really bad with me. Like it's still something that creeps in, and it's really cool because I can like catch it now. But I'm like, bro, you used to be a nutbag in that case. Like I was really, really
Yeah.
bad. You know, um, Today progress, not perfection, means it gives my recovery a direction. It doesn't mean like I I have to be flawless, right? It just gives me a direction. Progress for me means like I'm catching myself sooner. Um, I stay stuck in that rut for way less, right? And I might just pop in there and then pop right out instead of like living in it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more honest than I used to be, and I think about this, I'm quicker to ask for help too. I used to not ask for, I wouldn't ask for help in any situation, directions, whatever. It didn't matter. I wouldn't ask for help. And so I repair today my shit instead of running from my shit today.
Mm,
And for that's growth for me today, um that perfectionism, the old way of thinking of it, like meant that I never struggled, right? I never struggle, right? But progress allows me to struggle and still move forward. It's about struggling and moving forward through those hard times is how we
yeah.
grow. We all know that. We got to talk a lot about it because a lot of us want to shut down when those tough times come, but that's how we grow. So I still do procrastinate, right? I still have all these character defects, but I'm working on them today, right? I still want to control outcomes. Like the difference today is that I don't let those moments define or derail me, right? Like all these things that we have problems with, I don't let it run the show for the day, right? Like just kind of come and go throughout the day as I need them, but they don't ever take control of the situation into where it's like, everything else I gotta all the plans I have for today, we're gonna wipe those off because I gotta deal with this, right? It doesn't happen like that anymore today.
Yeah.
I correct course today without like condemning myself completely, which is so beautiful because I used to not be able to do that. And it keeps me willing, right? This whole process keeps me willing. Um, because perfection is not a requirement. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to have this thing figured out. And the more and more I can trust in y'all and help and be of service to y'all and let y'all be of service to me, the better I'm going to be out of my head. That self-centered thinking, right? The self-centered thinking is what gets me there. So that's my answer. Quick and easy.
I
Love
like
it.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandy. What does progress, not perfection, look like when it comes to character defects? I like a lot, but what you both said. Like I was thinking when you were talking, Andrew, um, like I looked at it like as much as long as I was just going forward, it didn't really matter how big my steps are, which is true, but I think I could easily take advantage of that. Like, well, I'm doing this and this and this, but I really could be going further than that. Like, just if am I just skimming through, or am I really trying to move forward? And but I also know that this is the only thing that I've ever like put this much effort into, my recovery. Like, I know that I just want to be a little bit better tomorrow than I am today. I don't have to be fucking perfect tomorrow. I don't have to, like I want to, write down the character defect. I want to be willing. I want to pray on it. I want to wake up the next day and it's gone. And it doesn't work like that. And because just imagine if it did. Like, I know that my progress are different for different things, but it may be something where like a year later, I'm still, working on this. And but I still am. And that's what it's about. It's not about like me mastering a character defect, because these are going to be with us. They're kind of like our bodies or our minds are constantly trying to use them. We just got to keep trying to um, take different routes. And so I don't want to, like, when I think about the progress, not perfection, like when I think about it, I don't want to get down on myself because I still deal with X, Y, and Z. I don't want to like, have pity for myself or feel bad because I still tend to have, deal with perfectionism or procrastination, because I'm better today than I was before, completely. And but I don't want to hold on to that and thinking I don't have to work on it anymore. So that's what's important to me. It's like I know that I'm better at it, better at dealing with those character defects today than I was yesterday, but I still have to work on them tomorrow. I still have to work on them now. And that's the progress for me, because I think that it can come in different areas of my life and different topics or different scenarios where these character defects can show up that maybe I thought that I had, found the root to it. So I shouldn't deal with this anymore. But it's something else comes up and may look at it a little bit differently, or it might be the same character defect, but I'm justifying it in a different way. But so I don't as much as I work on the perfection thing, like I know that I don't really truly want to be perfect at something, but I want to continually progress in my recovery and continually progress in that direction, like that light at the end of the tunnel. I want to see it. I don't want to look back at the dark. I don't want to go backwards or think that I can justifying is a killer for me, because I can justify myself into anything. I want to grow. I want to grow towards feeling spiritually, physically healthier for sure. And so, it comes with a lot of stuff. And it's kind of like my sponsor says, I sometimes I talk and my sponsor comes out. Um, but she says, like, healthy people move healthy people move towards their problems. And I think about that because I don't want to avoid my problems. And I think that's progress. That's progress moving towards it. And I got enough problems that it's not going to be perfect. My husband says I'm like a math book because I have a lot of problems. And it's funny now. It wasn't funny when he said it at first.
No.
I was like, motherfucker, what?
It wasn't funny when he made you read it in front of the class either.
Yeah, now I'm like, that's right. My son just told my teacher, yeah, my dad says my mom's a math book. She's got a lot of problems.
Well, it's
like,
getting out there now. Damn.
yeah, it is. It is. But I know that I'm in a non-egotistical way. I know I'm better today than I was. I know I am. And this program, this recovery is a lifetime thing just for today. So I don't have to have it all down right away. But my goal is still the same, to be a little bit better of a Brandy, and not just for myself. So I can be like, I'm a better person, because I want to portray that onto other people. Like, not, I want to be able to give that part of myself to people, and sometimes you can't control how people are. So if you just act that way, maybe they're just going to see it differently. Like I couldn't control how my husband deals with things, but if I just act this way and I just worry about myself, so I want to be able to give good stuff to people, my good parts, should I say. And so I won't strive for perfection in that, in that area of my life, because that is an issue for me. Don't talk about my house though. But I will I also know that I'm making progress, and when I have hard days that just seem all wrong, I need to acknowledge the progress still, because I still tried. I still tried to go forward. And so that's my answer to my question.
Love you,
Question:
Brandon.
do you have to load the dishwasher?
Yeah,
Okay, but just asking.
I do.
I'm not
Oh no, I
allowed.
don't.
Like,
Well,
What
I
does
make
that
sure,
mean?
actually I have a sign above my sink that says put your dishes in the dishwasher or I'll punch you.
oh,
And it says
okay,
love mom.
I'm
okay.
missing it. What am I missing?
I'm not allowed to load my dishwasher because I don't
I
put
know
them
you're
in
Because
right.
you don't
yeah.
do it right?
I
Oh,
know what you're saying,
Yeah,
because
wow.
I had to overlook that, because I can't my kids, they don't,
I
obviously
wish.
I didn't show them how to load a dishwasher. So I don't say anything to them when they do it weird, because I'm like, one day they're gonna load their own dishwasher, Brandy. So I
yeah,
get what you're saying now, yeah.
That's a beautiful
Um
problem to have, Milan.
yeah.
yeah. I guess so.
God, how did you figure that out? That's
He's like, I'm gonna do it
amazing.
wrong, so she doesn't want me to do it.
But like just enough where I'm like an adult and I don't get kicked out of the house, but
It
like
was
I don't need to
established
realize it.
really early on. Like
Yeah.
I
Mind
don't
blown.
make the grade on dishwashing, and I think I
I'm like
do a
that with
wonderful
laundry.
job.
Let's not
I,
talk about it anymore because I don't want you to have to start
Yeah,
doing
I'm
that.
like that with laundry though.
oh no, this conversation will not make me have to start doing it. Okay, pick a
So
number
funny.
between 1 and 9, Andrew, but you can't pick 7.
All right, I'm getting close on time. I got like 15 minutes. Just let you
Okay,
know.
yeah, we could do it. I'll put a timer on for everyone.
1 through 12.
You
Okay.
said 1 through
So
9.
that means you're picking 3 and 9, and then you're like dividing by
6.
4. So you really want,
6.
okay,
6.
6. Okay, here we
I
go.
got to be difficult today. I'm gonna ask. I'm sorry.
I
It's all
know,
right.
right?
Okay, every defect is a branch, but fear is the root. To love completely, the root must be exposed to the light. What specific fear is driving your need to be right, to be noticed, or to be superior today?
What fear? Say that last part.
What specific fear is driving your need to be right, to be noticed, or to be superior today?
Um, what fear is driving me? Well, fear of control. I mean, it just really boils down to control. Like my fear of control of the situation. Um, I have a problem with that. Like if I'm not in control of the situation, I'm just out of sorts. I'm just out of sorts, right? And so that's where I got to lean into like the group a lot. If it's a group situation, if it's like a business meeting or something like that, I really just gotta step back, trust myself that I've surrounded myself with the right people, right? And even when things get a little off on my mental, like I know I'm in a situation that I'm protected, right? I'm protected, whether it's the people I've surrounded myself with, uh, the God of my understanding, or just my lack thereof an answer to the situation. I know no is a complete sentence, it's a complete answer, or even a non-answer is an answer. Sean has taught me, bro. He's like, you don't have to like come with a fucking complete answer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You want to, but like it's not mandatory, right? Like that's not what we have to do here. And because I don't have to control anything more. It's not about me anymore, bro. I wake up every morning, bro, and I pray. I pray, when I pray, I feel something when I pray, right? He talks back. My prayers don't hit the ceiling and bounce back and hit me in the face anymore. I get answers. And so that allows me to release a lot of that control throughout the day. Even in specific situations, Brandy, I'll just hit that serenity prayer, or I'll
Mm.
reach out, and it just kind of resets me and recalibrates me for the day or the moment, whatever that situation is. Um, Gotten a lot better at that, leaning into the group, leaning into God. I love praying. And my
That
thing
serenity
is like,
prayer is powerful. It
it's so
really is.
powerful. It's so powerful. I'm on this thing, and it's been like this with me for a while. Like I get more out of prayer. I love praying. I pray by myself a lot, but I get a lot more out of prayer when I'm doing it with more than one person. Like when
Hmm.
it's more than just me. When I can
Yeah.
pray with somebody or in a group setting, my prayers just feel way more amped up, right? I don't know if it's just that everybody praying at once, it just
The
creates
energy.
more energy. I don't know. I don't care. It's just something that I'm like
Hmm.
addicted to praying with people. Like I'll hunt JJ down. JJ is one of my favorite prayers in the world. Like I love that man. Like if I've got 5 minutes and I need
Yeah.
a prayer, I will call that dude, and he just
Yeah.
he gets me right, bro. He understands the moment. Like when I call him to pray, he literally he'll leave the situation or like he'll get ready for that prayer. Like it's a thing. Like it's a thing that we do. And it's something I'm just so blessed to be in a position to want to do that today.
Yeah.
Just to want to
Right?
be in prayer, right? But
Genuinely.
great things happen to people who pray and are prayed for. And I know that for a fact that that's true. Pray, pray, pray. What does pray stands for? Pray. Pray and use step 11. No, pause. Pray and use step 11. Pause. It's that pause button. I
Mm.
pause and pray about everything, man. So I don't need to go on. I'm done. Love you.
That was great. I
Okay,
love it.
Brian, pick a number between 1 and 9, but not 3.
2.
17.
2. Okay. A defect is simply a place where we have not yet learned how to love completely. It is a wall built by fear. Which of your recurring behaviors acts as a barrier between you and the people you care about the most?
Man, one that I'd say resentment, because even though I've done so much work on it and I don't hold resentments like I did before, it still does create a little bit of a barrier, because like I'm good about talking about my feelings, and like if I feel a certain way before it turns into resentment, sometimes I don't feel like talking about it. Sometimes maybe it's overthinking. I've overthought about how the conversation will go. So instead, I'm just going to resent you and I'm going to get over it. Okay. Like, or like, I'll get over it faster than you. So I'm just going to keep it to myself and slowly emotionally kill myself, when really it's, yeah, resentments are a big one. I don't like to admit them. I don't like to rely on them. I like to go there, but it does still happen. It happens, and it does. It's creates this barrier. Like I still am doing work on enabling, and like that, when that creates a lot of resentments, and so then I overthink everything. Like I start to think like, well, if I don't do this for them and then they don't do it, or like don't do it right, I'm gonna be resentful about it. And then a lot of times that happens and I'm resentful about it. But I need to talk about it instead. I need to not just call people out on their shit. That's not what it is. Like I say this is how this is making me feel right now. And a lot of times when we talk about something with somebody, like if I know for myself, it's that resentment feelings that I'm having. A lot of it's I'm just not understanding, or I don't know. I didn't give them a chance even for their part. And so I know that before, when I didn't work on resentments and I looked at them, they were really a big coping mechanism, like to protect myself. And I have high expectations. Not that I tell everybody you need to lower your expectations, but let's be realistic. And my family, they're not mind readers. They don't know what I'm harboring against them. They don't even know they're in it. They don't even know they're in an argument with me in my head. And so so it's like I got to work on that. And maybe it's something like how you were saying, Andrew, like maybe I'm bored, emotionally bored and things. Like my life's just not that it's boring, but it's like there's no argument, no nothing. So I'm just gonna, and maybe I'm creating these resentments at the same time. So and I'd rather do things more entertaining than that, but like maybe that's where it comes from also. So I definitely is something that I hope to not always work on, but I always acknowledge that it is a character defect that will linger and surface if I don't pay attention to it. Like I don't have to have those resentments today. I have the ability to talk. I have the ability, I know how to say, I'm feeling, this makes me feel like, even if it sounds like I'm coming straight from a therapist, that's just what it is. Like, so what I hear you saying is like, you know, and I have that ability to do that. And so those when I let that kind of stuff get in the way, um, I need to remember I have the tools. I'm not going to do it perfectly, and I may not get it right every time, of course, but I can try, and because I don't want that kind of stuff. I don't like the feeling of resentments because it comes with a whole shit ton of other feelings that don't feel good, and I'm the only one affected by it. So it's yeah. Oh, that's my answer.
I love that.
Love you, man.
Okay, Andrew, pick a number between 2 and 9.
4.
Okay, so here I go. Living clean reminds us that we are not responsible for our disease, but we are responsible for our recovery. Holding on to defects is like carrying a ghost on our backs. Is the energy I spend defending my defects preventing me from rising into the person I am meant to be? You know, I still catch myself feeling like I deserve. You know, like I still catch myself saying, I deserve this. And so, you know, I think that that's an example of defending my defect, you know, preventing me from rising into the person I'm meant to be. Like, you know, my sponsor does a really good job at, you know, describing that as giving out roles, assigning roles. And that's it. It's like, I created so much grief and misery and anger and dissatisfaction in my life assigning roles. And when I catch myself doing that now, you know, like I literally have to back away and just be like, holy crap. I didn't start the timer, but I don't think I've been more than a minute yet. Anyway, but you know, I don't even think I have very much actually more to say on that really, because, you know, I find that I will defend them. But the thing is now there are certain ones where it's just like, oh, that is that. And I will go right into the amends process from there when I recognize it. I will talk about it. I will call myself out on it. Like I want to say, you know, like I don't want to say, but I make myself say what it is that I shouldn't have done, you know?
Yeah.
And sorry doesn't cut it. Like sorry just doesn't cut it. Like I have to be like, hey, this is what I did. This is what I should have done. I will try to do this in the future in that situation. Yeah. And I have to. And so, you know, there's moments where I hide behind old fucking patterns. Damn right I do. Like, you know, and I try not to. But, you know, like that's the thing is that I still have this ability to lie to myself. And I don't always catch it right away.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, that's it. I love you guys.
I love you guys.
Love you more.
Everybody, do you guys want to end with the serenity prayer?
I want to say one thing.
let's
Courage.
do it.
It takes a lot of courage to get over these things, right? Courage. What does courage stand for? COURAGE. Continue on understanding recovery and God's embrace.
Boom.
Yep.
We can say the serenity, but I would love to, man. I would love to.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting ready to hug or hold hands here. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can,
and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Solo poro y huepa!
Tune in next episode for more recovery fun. Go.
I was going to ask Andrew, what does WAPA mean? I hear it all the time.
Please help us help others. If you'd like to be here today, bye-bye, everybody. I love you. And help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.